All right, so we are back. Before I left, I mentioned that we would start back with Ariel, and the question is it better to rent or own? Wait, first of all, does anybody own a home in this panel?
I do not own a home.
I think Shane might. Okay, so from your perspective, being a real estate agent, is it better to rent or to own in this market, in the Boston market?
Okay, so I will tell you that I won't judge you, and like you should do whatever's best for you. Let me just start with that. If you feel as though renting is I definitely know people who swear to me up and down that owning a home would hinder them in every way possible. So I'm like, power to you, baby. But from the perspective of from a financial perspective, it's better to own a home. Like, it's better to own a home because, like, you rent a home. Y'all want to do the math on the rent that you've put into this world? Because I know you don't.
Right.
I know you don't.
Right.
But let's just assume you pay $1,000. Nobody pays $1,000 a month in Boston.
Period.
But let's assume you pay $1,000 a month in Boston. That's $12,000 a year.
Right.
Okay. You do that for 5 years. You paid $60,000 into somebody else's pocket.
Right.
You do that for 10 years. You paid $120,000 into somebody else's pocket. Most of us pay double that.
Yep.
Most of us pay $2,000.
Yep.
At the very least. That those numbers equate very quickly from 5 years to 2.5. At 5 years, you've already put $120,000 into your landlord's pocket. You're building somebody else's generational wealth.
Period.
For what?
Yep.
Why? You're worthy.
Right.
You should be building for your next generation.
Right.
Beyonce said it best. Her kid's running around a compound. How are you going to get there?
Ooh, she said a compound?
A compound, baby. A compound. Homeownership.
I'm assuming it depends on like your tax bracket though, right? Like if you spend all your money trying to like own a house and then you end up broke, it's just like
it depends on how you own that house.
What depends on?
Very true.
You said what depends on? You said what?
So if you like try to own a house, like say like you spend all your money trying to own the house and you end up owning it, and then you end up broke, it's like, does that make sense for you?
Can you explain to me how you could try to own a house and end up broke, and all your money would go into trying to own a house?
Your capital. I feel like it's when your capital, you're only supposed to spend 30% on housing. That includes electricity. That includes your water.
So it's not just mortgage or rent. It's the whole thing.
No, I'm saying you should be.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's a fact. I'm not saying that's a fact though. But kind of how she started, you kind of have to figure out what's right for you.
Yeah.
I believe home ownership is a great tool to wealth building. I believe it's one of my goals to have multiple properties. But if right now you're renting and that's best for you, really figuring out if that's where you want to be in the future. Because tell you right now, the market in Boston is competitive as fuck. Competitive as fuck. And our wages are not matching up. We cannot even drop a gem.
Also too, I'm gonna just say financially, I'm an idiot. So I'm asking you guys questions just to figure it out.
Drop a gem. I appreciate that vulnerability.
I hear constantly about how the housing market in Boston makes it impossible to buy a house, and you're right in so many scenarios. But why you gotta buy a house in Boston?
Right.
Who says you gotta live in the house that you buy?
Oh.
Why can't you go to the South and spend $25,000 on a single family and rent that bitch out?
Period.
$300 a door.
Period.
There are other ways to increase your income and your revenue.
That's right.
In order to put you in a position to buy a house in the place that you want to buy a house in, if you can't buy a house in the place that you want to buy a house in today.
Are you saying like rent it out or like Airbnb it?
Rent it out, Airbnb. Ooh,
many
Airbnb
options.
is a vibe.
Right, you got many options.
Are the vibe,
Yeah.
bro. Short-term rentals will give you the moolah. It's a little bit harder now because the government has caught on to all the money that we're making in short-term rentals.
They put so much stuff in place.
Yeah, now there's like different
regulations.
ordinances and zoning and regulations that make it a little bit harder. But there's these things called traveling nurses. They stay for a minimum of 6 months.
That's right.
There are a ton of ways to get around. If you have the drive, you will find
a way.
Like that's you will. Like that's just what it is.
No. If you have drive,
stir the pot.
But you're just stupid, like you're not gonna find the road. So
how you got driving?
If you gotta pay that mortgage,
you have never met a person who's just like, I'm so ambitious but has nowhere to go.
How? Okay, you haven't even Googled and you so ambitious. How ambitious could you have been, boy?
Man, maybe
You just
they're
walking
Googling the
around
wrong
trying to
things.
convince everybody else you ambitious. You ain't ambitious.
But
They
that's
might be
a lot-
googling the wrong things.
That's a lot of
That's true.
people.
You never
though.
seen people putting-
influence.
You never seen people put in all this energy, but
Yeah,
they're
it's
going
like how
nowhere.
everybody's woke now.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody woke. Like half the world.
Right.
They're like, I'm woke.
What do you mean with influence?
Like you said, people have ambition, but they don't have that knowledge. It's like
Yeah.
you could get in certain rooms and work the room like
Yeah.
magic
Mhm.
and get somewhere. But when it really comes to like, eventually you're gonna have to put in the work.
Yep.
You know, eventually you're gonna have to put in some sweat equity,
Yep.
have to do some research, and have to really do some self-analyzing and awareness and checking. The other people in the room ain't gonna do that for you.
Right.
I should just put a disclaimer out there that I never once said, and I do not believe real estate is not for the weak. Just like putting that out there. This is not for the weak.
Why do you say that?
I say that because you will shed a lot of tears. You will question your self-worth at night while you hold your glass of wine. Like, why the fuck I start this shit?
As a homeowner or as a
Homeowner.
Okay.
As a homeowner. Like, especially a first-time homeowner. You want to be a first-time buyer. Like, you be over here like, what you mean I could lose $20,000 on the spot if this don't work out in X way?
Yeah.
Like, it's not for the weak. You could be out here looking for houses for 7 months, putting in offers with your agent, and like denied, rejected. Like, it happens. It don't happen all that often to me. I write pretty good offers, but in the industry, that is what it is right now. Like, rejection is everywhere.
It sure
Also,
is.
like, people are out here like, well, I can't buy a house because rates are up. The feds have raised the rates. They're 5%. That's the highest they've been since like 2009. I mean 2019, not 2019. They're 5%. They're over 5%. They're about to hike again a half a point, but in June. You can always refinance your house though. You know what you can't refinance?
What?
The amount of money that you paid for that house. So people be like, that's people's number one thing. You know what? I'm gonna buy a house when the market settles down. You know, when there's not as much fight and it's like cool. But that house, or like people be like, I'm gonna buy a house when I pay down my debt. That house that you're looking at today in 3 years will be worth at least $25,000 more than it is today. And that's like on the low side. So if it's gonna be worth $25,000 more than it's worth today and you only paid off $12,000 worth of debt, who's the idiot?
That same concept about like real estate is not for the weak. Is that the same thing that you think of like when it comes to like being a real estate agent?
This is not for the weak, y'all. But I didn't come here to talk about my job. But I will.
Right.
Know, like,
I feel you.
What I do is definitely not for the weak. Like you live on 100% commission.
Yeah.
Like, so your whole life is based on being able to sell and buy real estate for your clients, right?
Yeah.
So like there are a ton of agents. I personally haven't run into this yet, but I will. I know I will because like, you know, like let's be humble and it will happen to all of us. But there are a ton of agents out here who have been working with clients for 7 months, who have put in 20 offers and every single offer has been rejected. Time is money where I like with what I do and where I come from. So it's like, if the commission check, if your clients, you know, price point is $400,000 and they're offering you a 2% commission because of the market. It's a seller's market right now. It's just changed recently. Like we're in a huge market shift. So I won't say it's a seller's market, but a couple months ago, like I'm sure y'all have seen open houses where you see like cars and they're like 15, 20, 25 cars lined up down the street to see one house. And you're like, there's 35 people here. The open house hasn't even started yet. So like in those scenarios, people are like, okay, we'll give you 2%. The house is $4,000. 2% of $400,000. 2% of $400,000 is $8,000. You got to split that with your brokerage. So like, let's say you have a good split, 80-20. You get to keep 80, they get to keep 20. All right, now you had $6,000.
Right.
Now let's talk about how much money you put into the actual business because you have to market for yourself. You have to buy your own materials. You have to buy your own business cards, your own pamphlets. You have to pay for your own systems. Like
That's called cost of goods sold on your balance on your income statement. By the way,
Cost of goods. Say that one more time.
Gem.
cost of goods sold. So when you get that income statement, it's your revenue and cost of goods sold. How much you spent to actually do your job.
To run your business.
Those are gems. Deadass. That's a gem I needed.
I had a
Okay.
I had a different question. This is like on a sidebar, But
Y'all ladies saw that?
Bye, both of y'all.
yes, I appreciate you for putting me on.
Yeah.
Putting me on.
What's
Good
the,
man.
We got a wingman on the couch.
what's a good credit score now? Like, are we saying 700, 600s? Of course, is it not 600s?
No, it's not
Is-
600s.
Is good credit score?
It's a decent credit score.
Yeah, it's decent.
Is
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
it's
go
fair.
on-
It's
Let
fair.
me go on my credit karma. Right?
Credit karma
700.
ain't shit. Don't even pull that up. Boy.
Seven.
No?
It's honestly
No.
really 720,
wait,
right?
It's a good rough draft. It's a good rough reference.
Yeah, Credit Karma is not the wave. Sir.
Google Lexus Nexus.
What
Is
is
that a porn star?
Lexus?
What is that?
It sounds like one, right?
Yeah.
But they are pretty much raping your pocket. No, so your information. Everything you've ever applied for, anything, even if it disappears, they have that information. In
Really?
storage.
Why?
Oh, wait. Credit karma. We can't.
Credit Karma is a cute rough draft. You can go online right now, or you can go on your phone, download Experience app.
Yeah, that's
you
what I
know,
have.
pay
You
some
can't skate
$9.99
past that
for
because
that.
most people use credit karma.
Yeah,
to
I
reference
don't
their credit
agree.
score.
I'm like being 100%
Do you guys
honest.
tell us why though?
Okay, so Credit Karma is not accurate, for lack of better words,
Mhm.
and it is a site that is specifically used to rape your your information and your criteria. They collect in their cookies, like, okay, perfect example. Credit Karma gives you suggested credit cards, right?
Yep.
They get paid for them suggested credit cards.
Yes, they do.
They choose cards based on what the companies are willing to pay
Yep.
them, and then they show you those cards. They're
Yep.
not necessarily the best for your credit.
Right.
But are you saying like they're overestimating your credit score? Are
Usually.
they underestimating your
It's
credit
usually
score?
overestimated.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
So then it's not a good.
overestimated.
So
There
is it a good
just-
reference or is it not a good reference?
No.
It's a
I
good
think
rough
as-
estimate.
As a
Like,
baseline.
okay, reference.
Yeah, as a baseline for someone who doesn't know much about credit or where to look or where to go,
It's a
that
great
would
place to
be
start.
that's a great place to start.
Mm.
Like as a baseline.
But what you really want to
But
do?
if you're trying to buy a house, definitely do not go off your Credit Karma credit score.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm gonna share
Go
some
be-
information as well. So
disappointed.
I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but you can also grab your free credit report with, you're not gonna have a score, but you can see at least what is on your reports from TransUnion, Equifax, and Equion.
Experian, and they owe it to you once a year.
Yep.
And
Yeah, one
once
free
every
credit
3
report.
You
Yep.
get a free one.
And I
every
think actually
365
since
days.
the pandemic, you've been able to grab all 3 once a month.
Oh.
I'm not sure if they're still doing that, but last month they were.
Interesting.
That's absolutely amazing.
But
Absolutely amazing.
But people have said before that if you check your credit score like more than once a year, you get penalized for it. Is that
It depends
real?
on what you use to check it. So the free credit reports that they are talking about, that they're speaking on, they come once a year, and those are not penalized. That one a year.
Yeah.
If you continue to buy a full credit report, it's basically you're running a credit check on yourself, an inquiry.
Mhm.
If you continue to buy a full credit report from those 3 companies, yeah, it will definitely lower your score. But that's not really what they mean. What they mean is when you do inquiries, which is basically anytime you let somebody run your credit in order to
See if you can
accomplish
get a
something,
card. Yeah.
a card, a car, a home, those inquiries count against you. Inquiries are one of the lightest things on your credit report, though. They count against you for only 2 years. And they really only make a difference in your score, as in like count against your score for a year.
Because if you fail it, then it fucks up your credit, right?
Yeah, well, it's
But if
not
you
really a
pass-
pass or fail. It's an informational information. It's an informational like scenario, no matter what. But yeah, absolutely. Like if you go, it's pointless, is what it is. If you go to buy a car and you have and they pull your credit and you don't meet the credit requirements, let's say they want you to have a 650 and they pull it and you only have a 580, which basically everything but a house costs more than a 580. We'll say costs because I don't really know how else. You need more than a 580 for basically everything but a house.
Right.
You can get a car with a 400, but that interest rate is not
Ooh,
worth it. Don't
you might
do
as well
that.
just leave it where it's
Yeah,
at.
just leave it where it's at.
Okay.
Exactly. But if they pull it right and you needed a 620 or a 650 and you only had a 600, then you just pulled an inquiry. You just probably docked your credit score about 10 points and
Right.
all for nothing.
Right.
Now you even further in the hole than when you started. And
Right.
the thing is, just a little gem, especially about buying cars specifically, because I feel like that's something that people do a lot, whether you're renting or buying a house. Go to your credit bureau, go to a local credit bureau, go to your bank and try to get a car loan through them. If you get a car loan through your bank, they run it once. They tell you what you qualify for. and then you go take that amount that you know that you can get, and you go car shopping.
Right, right.
You go to a car dealership,
They're gonna run it
they'll
about
run you
5
shit 15 times. They don't care.
Literally.
They'll run it through every bank they got to
Yes,
make
they
sure that
will.
they get that sale.
Yes, they
so
will.
that you can afford something somewhere that somebody approves you without ever completely and totally disregarding what that does to your credit in the process. You pop up with 15 credit inquiries, they dock you 10 points in inquiry.
Yeah.
We in the toilet.
Ooh. Toilet.
So I heard something that said people that leave generational wealth for their family, by the 3rd generation, the money is completely depleted. The money is completely gone. So, what in your opinion, Tari, what is generational wealth from your financial standpoint and knowledge? What is generational wealth? What does that look like?
So I have this slogan. It's wealthy living is, and I spell it with W capital H, because in order to have wealth to be sustainable, we need to practice healthy relationships.
Yep.
With ourselves,
Yep.
with our communities,
Yep.
with our family, with our children, just in general. So generational wealth is being able to sustain that and pass it on, and teaching them the skill sets and tools to manage it and really automate it, so you're not even thinking about it.
Right.
And also it's like, you check it every month, to cross check. Like, you go to the hospital, you get your physical checkup, you get your dental every 6 months. Same thing with your finances, check on it.
That's right.
So generational wealth for me is really healthy living.
Ooh,
But that statement makes me want to
that's
say,
deep,
fuck it.
baby.
If I know that my grandson is just gonna like fuck up my money, then why don't I just spend it myself? You know what I mean? I was like, I'll give it to my like when I'm a kid, but I was like, oh, it's gonna be depleted by the 3rd generation.
True. But I think that's why I push so much wealthy living.
Right.
Because
That's right.
it's a mindset thing as well.
That's right.
Because for me, it's like, nah, fuck that. I want my family name to pass on, even if it's not Nunez or King or Diaz. They still know grandma did this thing one time, set it up, worked hard, and put it into place in a system where I never had to even think about it.
That's right.
It's really doing the hard thing now.
Period.
And it's inspiring, and it lets them know that this can be done.
Yeah, 100%. It definitely can. It definitely can. But like she said, it starts with yourself. It's like, you set that alarm for 5 a.m. Did you get up at 5 a.m.? Are you continuously snoozing? You said you weren't going to eat that cupcake. Are you eating that cupcake, or did you choose a healthier option? Like, it's literally just kind of like making one decision at a time and following through and finishing strong.
No, facts. Because so I was reading a book, and he pretty much said every decision you make is a vote that you make for the person you want to be.
Atomic Habits.
I think so. Yeah.
Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
Read that book. It's good.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits.
Yes, with the
Yeah, I gotta read that book. Meanwhile,
Right?
I'm just ignoring hospital loans and college loans. Well,
You
actually,
said hospital
We
loans?
all ignoring our college loans. It's we all
You can get that off
Cancel
your credit report,
student
sir.
financial
Easy.
aid.
well, I did what's it called?
Financial aid. Student debt.
Consolidize, which brought out my credit. I went from like
You got a consolidation loan.
consolidation loan, which is like I went straight into delinquency, and I'm not sure how much that shit fucked up my own credit, but I know I was at I think I was like 3, but I rose it up to I rose it up to 740.
Your credit score?
And this, yeah.
Whoa.
And within 2 years after I consolidated it, because I never got a credit card. I was scared of credit cards.
Yeah.
Right.
Growing up, because everyone told me
That's
how
what we were talking about.
credit cards they're gonna fuck you over.
Yeah.
They really
evil.
do. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
like they are a tool to build wealth. Like, there's good credit and bad credit, but go ahead.
No. That's what I was gonna say. So I consolidated, and then I got a Capital One card for 300, and it rose my shit up.
Oh, yeah.
But then I went to a hospital, and they misdiagnosed me, and I was like, I'm not paying this fucking bill. I got the money to pay it, but I didn't want to fucking pay it.
That's
And
a
the shit,
violation.
the violation, right?
Yeah, HIPAA violation. You get that taken off your credit report.
Easily.
Oh,
Yeah,
can-
definitely.
Yeah, they violated
Yo,
your.
do your
they
research. Don't pay the
violated-
people.
Well, this is what I'm fucking here for.
Pay the people. A
I
medical
didn't
thing is
know
one of
that.
the easiest things to get
yeah,
off of your
they
credit report.
violated patient. It's a confidentiality. HIPAA is
That's
a
right.
thing. It's a thing. You should.
is it too late now though? Because it's like,
How much did
When
you,
was
did
this?
you pay it off?
I didn't pay it off because what you call it? It was like
How many years ago?
no, this is probably within a year.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Holla at them.
Yeah, write
Oh,
them a
yeah?
letter.
Yeah.
Write them people a letter.
Wait, write who a letter? Just like write.
Whoever
hospital
is
letter? So
no
just go to the
Whoever.
hospital and write
So
them a letter.
usually, because usually the
Hey.
hospital sells the debt.
Yeah.
yes.
So hit up, like it'll list who owns. It should list who owns the debt.
Mhm.
I don't know about on Carter Karma, but I know that it usually lists who owns the debt. Hit them up. Let them know. Send them a letter in writing. Like this
And
is
do
a
you have
HIPAA
any
violation.
proof
You shouldn't
of
even
that
have
violation?
Yeah, because I went to the ER and then I went to my general was it called physician? And then they were like, oh yeah, they misdiagnosed you. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
You can get that off.
Well, now I know.
Free universal health care. Just putting it out there. I totally support it.
Me
We all
too.
deserve it.
Aria, what does generational wealth look like for you?
So a very important word was used a couple minutes ago, and it's systems. So to me, generational wealth is basically putting in place systems that will have not you worrying, not your kids worrying, and not your kids' kids worrying.
Yep.
Even if your great grandchild is gonna fuck it up.
So that's the part where system comes in, because the system means that your great grandchild never gets a hold of enough wealth to fuck it up.
No matter how vindictive they are.
Yeah, literally. So that's the part that matters, is that you don't allow. So like, generational wealth isn't just building a monopoly of, because we all want monopolies. I want a monopoly board, hotels and all. But generational wealth is not just building a monopoly of income. It's then finding systems in which that you use to replenish that income and to recycle and rejuvenate it and to continue to make sure that it grows. And part of that system is to make sure that one or any of your children never gets full control. And there are ways to do that. There's these things called trusts that you can set up that allow your kids and their kids to get money in the way that you see fit and ideal without ever actually getting a hold of what you built. And that will allow the systems to continue forever. I took a financial literacy class through my company once, and the man who taught it is a multimillionaire today. And he went to a beach day. Like, it wasn't even a beach week, we should say. They stayed in this like beach cottage, him and like a whole family. It's not his family though. It was his like mentor's family. And when he asked him like, so y'all do this every year? He was like, my grandfather set this up like 3 generations ago, that we do this every year. It comes out of some fund somewhere, and like it's paid for, and we do it. Nobody gets $1. Like, that's not how it works. It works in a way that like his grandfather's money and financial decisions still work and make money for their family today. And like, it's passed on over and over again. These systems are passed on. Nobody gets a bank account with unlimited access. And that's what I find generational wealth to be. Like, I created a system that, if used correctly by my children and my children's children and my children's children's children, you could have enough money to create a system of your own. Right. You could build generational wealth for you. You could build wealth in general for you. But you ain't never going to run what I made into the ground. And that's how you get the Rockefellers and the Hiltons and even, God forbid it, that motherfucker Trump. But like, if you think that he has his dad's money as a whole, he does not. He does not. And you want to know why? Because he is who he is. And like, his dad predicted, like, I might have a dumbass kid one day. And if I do, he gonna run everything I made right into the ground. Like, no, we can't allow that.
What's the famous quote? I borrowed a small amount.
I borrowed a small loan of $1 million, y'all.
Small.
I borrowed a small loan of $1 million.
That's generational.
My dad gave me a small loan of $1 million. Meaning that his dad kept the other 99.99% of his assets and was like, okay, boy, here you go.
My dad gave me a tip. It wasn't $1 million loan, but he said, just think about money as a $5 in the back of your pocket. Once you break it, it's gone.
And that's the truth.
Once you break it, it's gone.
Because, once you break that 5 into $1, It's just $1, just $1.
Right.
Wait. When you break it, it's gone. Does that make you like more desperate for money? Does that make you like have an unhealthy relationship with like money though?
Definitely. My parents, if I would have followed in their mindsets, love y'all, but definitely unhealthy relationship with money.
Because it puts you in like a survivor mentality.
Exactly, and it's always that. And there's a pro and con to like that hustling mindset. It's like how to make shit happen, but you're always on survival mode, always on what's next, and you're never really on patience and growth. It's I gotta survive the next day. I gotta feed my kids.
Yeah.
And also too, like that's our energy. I always say like your energy is your currency. If you have that anxious anxiety type of mindset, you're gonna attract anxious situations. You're gonna attract anxious money. And whenever you have that type of money, whenever you have that type of mindset, and a lot of people think, okay, when they get a lot of money or they get a certain amount of money that they've never had before, the quickest way to lose that money is by trying to hold on to it. Money is to be circulated. It's a circulation. It's not something that you just hold on and just put into your savings account and just let it grow. That's not how you'll never be rich, putting money into your savings account.
The math of it is really easy. Make more than you spend. If you have an unhealthy relationship with material objects, or for me, it's not material objects, it's experiences. I like experiences, y'all. You got to make more than you spend. So like the other way outside of real estate, or like, I guess including real estate, is you need to have more than one stream of income.
Period.
Like you can't just be out here working. Working requires your physical body. You only have 24 hours in a day. Therefore, you do cap on your possible income. That's right. There are other ways to make money. There are other ways to get money.
OnlyFans. Sorry.
OnlyFans. I don't even know why he's saying sorry. OnlyFans. If you got it, if you got the confidence, go do that. That is a stream. That will make you money and continuously make you money. You could sit down for one day, make 100 videos, and post them like
sit down for one
slowly
day, make 100 videos.
and let them out. Believe me, I am never ever gonna knock OnlyFans. I know women who are millionaires right now from older.
Babe, you heard?
First subscriber right here.
No, but that's true. But I just, being like doing like the film life, the photographer, artist, graphic design shit. Hustling gets fucking hard.
Yeah, that starving artist life is real.
Oh my god,
definitely is.
Don't be a
facts.
starving artist. It's a terrible thing.
It's so hard,
and
it makes you resent your craft.
Very
even
true.
that term, starving artist. It's like the whole energy around a starving artist. That phrase, you're never even really meant to thrive if you have that starving artist type of mindset.
Well, that's how you start though.
No, but you don't have to starve by starting, and that's another important thing when it comes to credit. Like artists, if you think about it, you're a business owner. You can get things to build up your credit in order to get paint, in order to get brushes, in order to get a card to get to wherever you have to go. Like, just because you are an artist, that doesn't mean you have to be broke or you have to be poor. You just need to think in a entrepreneur business mindset.
I agree with Cricket, because I feel like the number one problem with artists is that most of them only see themselves as artists instead of as business people.
That's
and
it.
It's like, I've tried to convince so many artists when they're out here like painting, and they're like, yeah, but I do it for the love. And I'm like, but love don't feed
love
you.
ain't you can't
like,
pay, you can't pay bills with love.
Like, I get it that it's your whole heart and soul, but it's like, you're an entrepreneur and you could be flipping your craft in some way whatsoever without resenting it. Like, I'm not saying to go full blown, but there's definitely got to be a way for every artist to make $1 at the same time as doing what they love.
100%.
And to act accordingly on that. Like, start a paint night. Like,
okay, period. You'll never be, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day, like, as a makeup artist, you'll never be a millionaire just beating faces at $100. That's not.
Exactly.
You'll never do it.
But you have to starve at one point, because it's like, who's gonna pay for something that doesn't have any reputation?
You don't have to starve. You